pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please call the roll.
Alderman Swafford. Here. Alderman Yes. Alderman Hitcher.
Here.
Alderman Fox.
Here.
Alderman Here.
Here.
Alderman Brett.
Here.
Alderman Yes.
Here. Here. First up, we have two public hearings, the first of which is ordinance 2025-1681, an ordinance amending chapter 58 of the Mequon Municipal Code related to structures on the Lake Michigan Bluff. This is recommended by Planning Commission on April 21st, recommended by Public Welfare on May 13th, first reading at Common Council also on May 13th. Is there a motion to go into public hearing?
Move to go into public hearing.
Second. Motion in a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? We are now in public hearing. Is there anyone here this evening who wishes to speak on this item? Seeing none, is there a motion to close public hearing?
Move to. Second.
Motion in a second to close public hearing. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Public hearing, any opposed? Public hearing is closed. We will now immediately take up consideration of this ordinance. Is there any questions or debate from the council after many, many meetings on this topic? You want to say a few words, Alderman Bach?
I'll say a few words. Yes, so first of all, I want to thank the staff for their good work on this issue. I know this took a lot of time, and I appreciate the good work. I think it's important to trust the ordinance change process. Just, give me a couple minutes just to review that, what happened here. Some residents came forward, maybe two or three, they went through the process. One went all the way through the appeal process and was rightfully denied because the ordinance was written to not allow this kind of new technology of basically the floating stairs. So the resident was advised that their next step was to go through the change ordinance process, which I believe was last reviewed in 1974 and 1988. So these technologies were not available. This resident was extremely patient. As we all know, sometimes things move slowly in city government, and I'm learning that as well. So that's where I was contacted and asked to get involved and listened and thought there was merit to this issue. So I did a little bit of research and then brought it to the staff. We brought it to the committee of the whole, and the green light was given to investigate. And as you know, we have an awesome planning staff, and once they're given the green light, they're going to look at every single challenge and angle possible. And spend a lot of time. And so they looked at all angles, public safety, county, state, legal, et cetera, and they put together an updated ordinance to kind of address this issue. Got a lot of feedback along the way. I'm surprised at how Director Tolson just smiles and then gets a pen out and adds different things and much appreciated. But eventually went to the planning commission, and I was with that group for a number of years, and that's a challenging group. It took me a year and a half to learn all that planning window, but they passed unanimously there. Went to public welfare, passed unanimously. And so, if you have waterfront access, you'd like to access that property. And it doesn't matter if you're in the North Woods, if you're in Lake Geneva, you're in Florida. If you are lucky enough to have lakefront property, you'd like to access that. I was in the Cape Canaveral area over a spring break, and there are the bluffs there, but they certainly had challenges. Every single resident in the area I was had access to the beach, even though there was public access every 2 blocks. Doesn't mean that they have challenges. I think all of these communities that have lakes, there are different challenges. In the case where I was, they have challenges with these giant sea turtles, and the sea turtles this time of the year for a month and a half lay their eggs in dunes. Those dunes are on property of property owners. And the problem is they need complete darkness at night to lay their eggs. So they have to pass an ordinance for all the residents to say, hey, for a month and a half, you can't have any exterior lighting. So, the point is that there are always going to be challenges with properties. And this one was similar. But I think the essential question is, should make Mequon lakefront residents be able to access the lake, the proven technology, while also recognizing that they're required to check all the boxes of this well-researched ordinance? And I think the answer is yes. So thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Bach. Anyone else have any final words before we call the question? I guess we still need a motion in a second, though. You
I
guys
move
make-
approval.
You
I move
guys will
approval.
make the motion.
Yep.
Second. Any further debate or comments? Hearing and seeing none, please call the roll.
Showcheck.
Aye.
Alderman Tomato. Aye. Alderman Cantor.
Aye.
Aye.
Rich.
Aye.
Alderman Gephardt.
No.
Ayes have it. Moving on to ordinance 2025-1682, an ordinance amending the following within chapter 58 of the Mequon Municipal Code in conjunction with planned improvements for the property located at 10806 West Rystad Road. A, the city's land use plan map from neighborhood commercial to residential 1 to 1.5 acres, and B, the city's zoning map from B1 neighborhood commercial to R4 residential 3/4 acre. Recommended by the planning commission on April 21st, first reading at common council on May 13th. Is there a motion to go into public hearing?
So moved.
Motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are in public hearing. Anyone here this evening wish to speak on this item? Hearing and seeing none, is there a motion to close public hearing?
Move to close public
Second.
hearing.
Motion and a second. All in favor of closing the public hearing, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And we're back and we'll immediately consider this ordinance as well. Any further debate or is there a motion? Motion. And one comment maybe, Alderman Parrish.
Yeah, this one caused me pause on the agenda. We could go to page 48, the packet. We have this scenario throughout the city where you have a lot of not legal, non-conforming structures because of the zoning code. It happens a lot, not just Bay Road, where you have residential houses in the industrial area. Just quite often that the residential houses are trying to beautify their houses, add value, but they run into issues because it's zoned industrial, it's not zoned residential, it's a house. So in most cases, I can't recall any scenario where we've kind of gone into an area that is generally one land use. And if you look at the map, it's all neighborhood commercial. And surely when you drive through there, it's a very rural area. I'm not trying to say that we're trying to make it next pro Washington Road, but it is a very mixed use area. I'm not sure the zoning, maybe the zoning code isn't even correct for this area, and we should look at a new type of mixed use classification. But I do feel that if you just, on this parcel alone, how is this not spot zoning? How are we not creating precedent for every other legal non-conforming use? How are we not changing the character of this neighborhood? And I do think the owner has a financial, they have several hardships here. But they did buy a legal non-conforming home, and it's not our problem to solve. Our job is to respect the land use plan. So at first I was okay with it, but the more I think about it, I'm gonna vote in favor of the land use plan and preserving it. And I guess if I'm missing something, I'd love staff to correct me. I don't want to misspeak with my colleagues. This would be a rare situation where we're doing this. Is that correct, Jack?
Well, in fact, we did it in this exact same neighborhood. If you look at the building district where it shows the whole area is R4, we actually rezoned that about, I want to say 5 years ago. Same exact situation. You want to do some improvements to the house, then we rezoned it to R4, let them over there improvements. We're doing the exact same thing as well. So we just looked at it as an existing house. And no intention of changing it to a business of any kind, and we thought by hamstring it with development by the zoning code. So we're supportive of the change. I necessarily, I don't think spot zoning is illegal, but I don't even know if it's the case situation. Just if you look, this property is R4, and if you go towards the east, further down the map.
Well, and the live microphone. Is that working there? Yeah. This neighborhood's rather unique. It has more in common with downtown Thiensville than it does the rest of Mequon as far as its character and look and feel. Many such things in the 1800s were developed exactly like this. You have houses and businesses, all kind of intermixing on a very solid downtown. In fact, this was not an incorporated entity. It was a functioning village probably before Thiensville was a village. A little outcrop on the west side of Mequon. To be honest, going over and overriding this all with B1 was probably a mistake at some point. And insofar as it may have been a mistake, I think it's our job to fix mistakes when we are called out for them. So I would strongly support this. It doesn't change the character of the area at all. It's highly unique to just the price net area. It's got a character all its own, and this is certainly not in concert with the rest of it. It's totally in concert with the rest of the area. It fits. So I'll be supporting it if I
I think I'll
get the vote out.
Just after hearing your feedback, Mayor, the additional information, I didn't realize there was development immediately to the east.
Yeah.
That we had literally just on the store, so I think there perhaps is precedent. Probably is more precedent to prevent this before, so.
Yeah, this is a corner
Area
area.
versus area is changing.
This is probably doing more to preserve the character of the area than going the opposite direction, yeah. Any other feedback? Or is there a second?
Second.
Okay, there's an enthusiastic second. Any other discussion? Hearing and seeing none, please call the roll.
Alderman Tomaco? Aye. Alderman Cantor?
Aye.
Alderman Fox?
Aye.
Alderman.
Aye.
Alderman Brackett?
Aye.
Alderman Gephardt?
Aye.
Alderman Johnson?
Aye.
The ayes have it. I was expecting more people to vote. I'm not sure why. We're only down one person. Next up, we have personal appearances and public comment. If citizens wishing to address the council on any item not on the agenda may do so at this time. If you desire to be heard on any agenda item, you may be heard when that item is considered on the agenda. Please speak into the microphone at the podium. Time limit is 5 minutes. Is there anyone here this evening who wishes to speak on any item not on the agenda? Seeing none, we'll move on to public officials reports. I have just one item. I have a proclamation to make. Is there someone here this evening who is here for this proclamation? Ma'am, do you want to come up, ma'am? Then someone is gonna take a picture of after bring that told, so we'll work on that, yeah, but, okay, my way around here, read this. Try not to stand in front of a microphone at the same time. Proclamation recognizing June as National Scleroderma Month. Addressing the complex health needs of people with scleroderma is important to the city of Mequon. Scleroderma is a group of rare diseases that involves the hardening and tightening of the skin and connective tissues. Scleroderma may affect the skin, blood vessels, internal organs, and the digestive tract. The signs and symptoms vary from each scleroderma. According to the Scleroderma Foundation, approximately 300,000 individuals in the United States, along with a few here in Mequon, are diagnosed with scleroderma. Comprehensive and coordinated health services for people with scleroderma are critically important for achieving positive patient outcomes. It is appropriate to recognize June as Scleroderma Awareness Month, and through public awareness, the city of Mequon seeks to focus the needs of people living with scleroderma and the continued improvement of the services for those people and their families. Persons living with scleroderma in the city of Mequon, their family and friends are encouraged to wear teal for the month of June to create awareness and educate the medical community and public support of scleroderma awareness to participate in scleroderma awareness related events during the month of June. Scleroderma Foundation and other organization partners seek to raise awareness in our community through support, education, research towards finding a cure for scleroderma. Accordingly, I, Andy Irvin, Mayor of the City of Mequon, and on behalf of all citizens of the city, proclaim June as Scleroderma Awareness Month in the City of Mequon, and I urge all citizens to support efforts of scleroderma awareness in hopes of one day finding. And we have a citizen here to receive this proclamation. You can have this for yourself, and I'd like to get a picture for the city bulletin as well, if someone could grab it. I'll unlock my phone. Bring it out. Yeah, oh, Justin, all right, I'll put this thing down.
Oh, goodness.
Administrator Jones, any public reports?
Thank you, Mayor. Members of the council, just a couple of quick updates before we move through the rest of this evening's agenda. This was our June meeting here in Mequon, and that means construction season is well underway. Recently, myself and Mayor Irvin and other members of staff met with representatives from WestDOT to talk about progress on the I-43 reconstruction project. The bulk of the remaining activity currently centers around the Mequon Road interchange. And we were advised during this meeting about 10 days ago that that interchange will be open for service right around the July 4th holiday. There is some finishing work going on with southbound ramps just west of the interchange. And there's some resurfacing work along Mequon Road that will be completed in the next couple of weeks. But that is the last of the interchanges along the Mequon leg of this project that is being completed. And we're happy to have that back in service open for the motoring public here in the next few weeks. On a somewhat related note, we now have another WSDOT project going on just down here as you extend all the way into the city's western border along the Wisconsin Road. City staff was notified by WSDOT and the governor's office last week that this project would be starting in earnest this week. And this leg of Mequon Road between Buntrock Avenue and Wisconsin Road will be closed from yesterday all the way through Labor Day for resurfacing, some base patching, installation of a sidewalk along Mequon Road that was previously approved by this council. From Wauwatosa to Swan Road, and some other shoulder style repairs along with various floorboard and some ramping as well. So that's going to require the full closure of Mequon Road going west from the town center through the end of August into early September. Anyone here living in Mequon and motorists and others visiting the city are encouraged utilize alternative routes for longer trips, but the businesses and the residents will have access to their homes and businesses along the route throughout the duration of the project. Additional information on both projects, the I-43 and the Mequon Road resurfacing project, are available on WSDOT's 511 website. They have an extensive listing of all projects going on across the state. Residents who are interested in getting more information or frequent updates on specific projects can sign up for alerts on the 511 website. Last month, I talked a little bit about the community survey, which the council has been working on for the better part of 6 to 8 months here. That is now out into the community. Paper surveys were distributed to a sample of about 10% of our residents in mid-May. Postcards went out at the end of May and should have been arrived in all other residents' mailboxes within the last week to 10 days. Anyone is welcome to take the survey, and that can be accessed at mequonsurvey.org. Any responses are due by the end of this month, which is June 30th. And so far, Based on the reports that were shared at the Public Welfare Committee, this evening, we've received about 1,000 responses to the survey so far. So survey is still open, but it's closing here soon over the next 3 weeks. And then lastly, under my report, a month ago, during the committee of the whole portion of the meeting, the council authorized the distribution of an RFP seeking consulting services on the potential attraction and siting of a hotel along Port Washington Road. Since that meeting, the RFP has been posted on the city's website and distributed to consultants that specialize in this work. To date, the city has received 3 responses to that RFP. The deadline for submittals is this Friday, June 13th. And from there, the Economic Development Board and the internal review team will be reviewing the proposals received, conducting interviews, and then bringing a recommendation back to the common council for a contract award should the price for these services reach the $25,000 threshold. So good news to report just a couple of weeks out since Director Thompson and her team put that out in the air. And I just wanted to give the council a heads up on what will be coming in July, August. So that's the report there. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have the consent agenda. We have 9 various sets of meeting minutes from boards and commissions, potential acceptance of an audit report and a resolution. Is there a motion to approve consent agenda?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The consent agenda is approved. We have no other ordinances this evening other than the 2 that were under their public hearing. We have a small handful of resolutions, however. Resolution 4214, a resolution authorizing execution of an amendment to the right-of-way agreement with MT Trails Foundation for the construction of a bike path on Highland Road from the Ozaki Interurban Trail to Rotary Park. Recommendation forthcoming this evening from Public Works.
Public Works approved of it, and I'd like to move the motion.
The motion? Second. And a second. Any comments or questions on this item? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That resolution carries. Congratulations, MT Trails. See you at the Planning Commission in a week or 2. For a tree, single tree to be removed. Resolution 4215, a resolution approving the purchase of a 2020 Elgin Whirlwind 1 pure vacuum street sweeper. The Mequon Group of Menominee Falls, Wisconsin, in the amount of $395. Recommendation forthcoming from this evening by Public Works.
Public Works approved of it, and I'd like to move the motion.
Motion. Is that a second? Motion and a second? Any debate? Just like to add, I learned more about street sweepers this morning than I ever cared to know. I work with a gentleman at my day job who worked at the Elgin Corporation for about 2 decades and designed the very machine we were talking about. So I got a good overview. We're getting a good machine, I think. So at a fair price. These are fantastically expensive machines, but getting this one lightly used certainly is a smart move. Is better than paying full fare, and we can get it much quicker. And finally retire our 1992 workhorse, the Pelican. Yeah, my coworker designed the Pelican 2 that replaced the Pelican. That was his first job at the Elgin Corporation. We have a motion and a second. Any other comments? Hearing and seeing none, please call the roll.
Alderman Cantor.
Aye.
Aye.
Alderman Gephardt. Alderman Strasburg.
Aye.
And Alderman Nicolao. Aye.
Ayes have it. On to resolution 4216, a resolution rejecting bids received for the Port Washington Road streetscaping project between Zedler Lane and Mequon Road. Recommendation forthcoming from Public Works this evening.
Public Works approved the resolution 4216 to reject the bids. And I move.
Motion and a second from Alderman Brett. Any comments or questions from members of the council?
Motion and a second to reject.
To reject the bids, yes. So just to clarify, we wanted to kick this project off earlier in the year. It was before the county to get their blessing in January, and it was unexpectedly derailed by some concerns from their corporate counsel. That has not quite yet been resolved. Hopefully will be resolved either this month or next month. Due to that delay, we've entered into the unfavorable bidding season for construction, so that is likely why we've received such high bids. All that after delaying the project last year to accommodate the Mequon Road construction. It's so awesome to be delayed 2 years. Thank you, Ozaki County. Sorry to those of us sitting here who also sit on that board. But we look forward to hopefully engaging in this project next year, should the county decide to favorably endorse our maintenance agreement in their right of way. So forthcoming news on that, hopefully shortly. With that said, I probably said too much. Please call the roll.
Alderman Bach.
Aye.
Alderman Fair.
Aye.
Alderman Brett.
Aye.
Alderman
Aye.
Alderman Flacco. Aye. Alderman Cantor.
Aye.
The bids are rejected, and hopefully will be rebid for the next construction season. Resolution 4217, a resolution approving the purchase of one K9 Ford Police Interceptor Sport Utility Vehicle from Ewell Automotive Group of Hartford, Wisconsin, the amount of $44,938, and the receipt of a donation from the Mequon Community Foundation for the purchase of the K9 squad equipment in the amount of $10,553. Recommendation forthcoming by Public Safety Committee this evening.
Public Safety met this evening and unanimously recommended approval, resolution 4217. I move approval this evening with, again, a special thank you to the Mequon Community Foundation for their gift of $10,553 to retrofit this K9 unit. It requires some special air conditioning and a kennel in the back. So once again, we really appreciate the generosity of the foundation. Motion.
Second.
Motion is second. Couldn't have said it better. Many thanks to the Community Foundation. They continue to make great things happen that may not otherwise happen. Any other comments from council or questions? Hearing and seeing none, please call the roll.
Fair.
Aye.
Alderman Brett.
Aye.
Alderman Mequon.
Aye.
Alderman Strobel.
Aye.
Alderman Flacco. Aye. Alderman Cantor.
Aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. We have no specified unfinished business in prior meetings. No specified new business, but we have yet one motion to make, and I think Alderman Meyer would like to make this motion.
You know, I'm late. Move to adjourn?
Motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? You're adjourned. Thank you, everyone.